It was supposed to be just another busy morning at the downtown cafe. The smell of espresso filled the air, and the clinking of mugs echoed through the chatter of customers rushing to work. But then, in one shocking moment, everything went silent. A waiter, a single dad named Daniel, had just spilled hot coffee all over a woman's expensive suit. The woman, furious, stood up instantly. She was the CEO of one of the biggest tech firms in the city. Everyone froze, expecting her to explode in anger. But before she could even open her mouth, Daniel whispered something that made her eyes widen, and in that instant, everything changed. Hey everyone, welcome back to your channel name, where real stories meet real emotions. If you believe kindness can change lives, you're in the right place. Before we dive deeper into this powerful story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's begin this story about a single dad, a spilled cup of coffee, and the unexpected power of compassion. Daniel worked at the Cornerstone Cafe, a small coffee shop tucked between glass skyscrapers in downtown Chicago. Every morning, he put on his slightly faded uniform, tied his apron, and smiled at himself in the mirror. He was tired, sure, but he always told himself, keep going. Lily's counting on you. Lily was his 7-year-old daughter, the light of his world. She loved pancakes, bedtime stories, and braiding her dad's hair whenever he let her. But life hadn't been kind to them lately. Daniel's wife had passed away 2 years ago after a long battle with cancer, leaving him to raise Lily alone. He worked double shifts, barely slept, and sometimes went without dinner just so his daughter could eat her favorite cereal in the morning. That morning, the cafe was busier than usual. Rain poured outside, and soaked businesspeople flooded in for warmth and caffeine. Daniel was balancing 2 trays, one with pastries, the other with steaming mugs, when the door opened again. A woman stepped in, confident and poised. Her heels clicked against the floor like punctuation marks. She was dressed in a tailored gray suit, her hair sleek, her eyes sharp. She ordered a cappuccino and took a seat by the window, her phone in hand, typing fast and frowning harder. Table 5, the barista whispered to Daniel. Daniel nodded and walked toward her table, careful and steady, until a loud crash came from behind the counter. He turned for just a split second, startled. That's when it happened. The tray tilted. The cup slipped. And hot coffee splashed down the woman's sleeve and across her blouse. The cafe fell silent. Oh my God, she shouted, jumping up. Do you even know how much this suit costs? Daniel froze, his face pale. Ma'am, I am so sorry. You should be, she snapped. Unbelievable. I have an important meeting in 10 minutes. Do you even have any idea who I am? Daniel swallowed hard. He looked her in the eye. And then, to everyone's shock, he said softly, yes, ma'am. I do. The woman blinked. Excuse me? He took a breath, his hands trembling. You're Ms. Reynolds, CEO of ClearTech Systems. You interviewed my wife 3 years ago. Her anger paused, replaced by confusion. Your wife? Yes, Daniel said quietly. Her name was Emily. She applied for the junior designer position. She really admired you. Ms. Reynolds frowned, trying to remember. I'm sorry, I don't recall. Daniel smiled sadly. I don't expect you to. You meet hundreds of people. But that day, you were the only one who told her she had potential. Even though she didn't get the job, she came home glowing. She said, someone believed in me today. That meant everything to her. The cafe was silent again, but this time, it was a different kind of silence, the heavy kind that makes people listen. Daniel continued, she was battling cancer back then. We didn't have much hope left. But your kindness that day gave her one more reason to keep fighting. She used that encouragement to start her own small design business from home. It kept her going for a while longer. Ms. Reynolds' expression softened. The anger in her face slowly melted away. I didn't know, she whispered. Daniel nodded. No one did. She passed away a year later. But before she did, she made me promise that if I ever met you again, I'd thank you for giving her hope when she needed it most. Ms. Reynolds lowered her eyes. Her throat tightened. And the coffee? She asked faintly. Daniel gave a weak, nervous smile. That was my fault. But I wanted to thank you properly. I'd been too nervous to approach you. Then I saw you come in, and I just froze. When I spilled the coffee, I realized maybe it was life's strange way of giving me the chance to say thank you after all. Tears welled in Ms. Reynolds' eyes. She really looked at him for the first time. The exhaustion behind his smile, the sincerity in his eyes, the humility in his voice. He wasn't just a waiter. He was a father doing his best, a man carrying both gratitude and grief. She reached for a napkin, her voice trembling. You don't have to thank me for something I barely remember. But I remember now. Your wife. She had kind eyes. Daniel nodded, his voice breaking. She did. The cafe was completely still. Even the coffee machine seemed to hush. Ms. Reynolds stood there for a moment, then said quietly, "Come with me." Daniel blinked. Ma'am? Your shift ends in an hour, right? Yes, but... I'll wait. He didn't know what to say. After his shift, she drove him to her office, a sleek, glass building that looked like something out of a movie. She led him into a conference room and asked him to sit. Daniel, she began softly, I've been looking for someone to lead our new in-house cafe. We want to make it more community-oriented. Good service, good people, and a good story. I think you'd be perfect for it. He blinked, stunned. Ma'am, I'm just a waiter. She smiled gently. No, you're not. You're a man who understands kindness. That's rare in business and in life. Daniel didn't know how to respond. He felt his chest tighten, his eyes sting. I don't know what to say. Say yes, she replied. He did. A few weeks later, Daniel started his new job, manager of the ClearTech Cafe. It was small but beautiful, filled with the smell of fresh beans and sunlight through wide windows. And every morning, he brought Lily with him before school. She'd sit at the corner table doing homework while her dad greeted customers with a smile. One day, Ms. Reynolds stopped by, dressed in casual clothes instead of her usual suit. Lily ran up to her and said, "Thank you for giving my daddy a new job." Ms. Reynolds knelt down, smiling softly. Actually, sweetheart, your daddy gave me something first. What's that? Lily asked. A reminder, she said quietly. That being kind doesn't cost a thing, but it can mean everything. From that day forward, the cafe wasn't just a workplace, it became a symbol of hope. Daniel's story spread through the company, and soon, employees started leaving free coffee coupons for strangers, donating to local shelters, and helping each other more than ever before. Sometimes, it takes one spilled cup of coffee to remind us that behind every mistake, there might be a story, a struggle, or a silent act of love waiting to be heard. Because kindness doesn't just change the moment, it changes lives. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to give it a like, share it with someone who needs a reminder of kindness, and subscribe to your channel name for more stories that warm the soul and make you believe in good again. And remember, no act of kindness, no matter how small, ever goes unnoticed. Hot beverage yellow heart.